Brooklyn, possibly my biggest influence vocally.
And her own award-winning catalog.
What doesn't kill you makes you strong. That's what you're going to get here. So you're welcome in advance. My SiriusXM channel.
To hear the Kelly Clarkson Connection, activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800 or visiting SiriusXM.com/go.
Filled with ad-free music made for everything you do, mashup channels, workout channels, channels for parties, or just chilling out and more. Expertly curated for any mood, occasion, or activity. Extra channels let you discover new music and enjoy even more variety from every decade and music style you love. Plus, you can watch some of your favorite SiriusXM shows with SiriusXM Video. And you can do it all along with listening in your car as part of our music and entertainment plan. Right now, we're offering SiriusXM subscription plans for as low as $6 a month, plus fees and taxes. Call 844-711-8800 to find out more about these amazing offers.
Amazing moments happen so much at SiriusXM. We want you to see them. SiriusXM Video lets you watch your favorite SiriusXM shows on the SiriusXM app. Groundbreaking interviews, amazing in-show moments, behind-the-scenes footage, live performances, all come to life in a way you only imagined before. Plus, you can create your own personalized Pandora station based on the artist you love. And hear over 100 extra channels filled with ad-free music for every mood or occasion. Get your first 6 months of our Platinum plan for only $8.33 per month, plus fees and taxes. Just call 844-711-8800 to take advantage of this amazing offer.
SoundCloud Radio. Now, for a limited time on Channel 79, and always on the all-new SiriusXM app.
There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, let's see. There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, let's see. If you've been thinking about buying a home, you need to be in the zone, the home buying zone. You need a game plan to win in this great real estate market. The Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage has all your bases covered. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, purchasing your dream home, refinancing, consolidating debt, or even considering a reverse mortgage, contact the Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage today. They have the lowest closing costs and they'll close your loan on time, guaranteed, or they'll pay your first mortgage payment. And they even have a 3.5% purchase down payment grant that can get you into a home with little money out of your pocket. It doesn't get more clutch than that, folks. Score big on the biggest purchase of your life. Call Equity Zone Mortgage today at 1-800-772-8624. That's 1-800-772-8624. Or apply online at equityzonemortgage.com and tell them Big C sent you as heard on the Big C Sports Podcast. License number 018-14868.
Grando Deportes, Bonjour, Vidi Vidi Vici. Let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to me and people who love the universe, and that would include you. What a beautiful day on a beautiful leap year, February the 29th, 2024. Today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. When you go by and test drive yours, tell them sit ya where the good Lord split you. As well as driving a fleet of Cadillac cars. Really do appreciate that. I want to say today's show going to talk about some Black History Month. I'm still want to call it Black History Day because in my mind, every day is Black History Day. All life began on the African continent. All's fair level work. But I do got some NBA stats coming up. Going to talk about the Big C's NBA Power Rankings. And I really do appreciate that. You know, I'm always saying you can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 29 podcast applications all over the universe. You can also follow Big C Sports Podcast on 4 TV platforms streaming: Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon and Fire TV. Really do appreciate that. I want to say with Big C Sports Podcast, I think I'm the #1 sports show in the universe that talks about reparations and sports. I love paying homage to California Senator Stephen Bradford. His sponsored bill is called SB 490 to help create Freedmen's Bureau. in California. I really do appreciate that. But I want to also say, as I do with all the Big C Sports podcasts, I always produce the show. I direct the topics. I broadcast all the shows. And then I'm telling you, I do all the sound effects based on the platform provided by the agency. We could all use more laughter in our lives. I know I could use more laughter. I do all the commercials, and then the stats are provided. I do the storytelling. I even do the play-by-play. The show is uploaded to 29 podcast platforms out of New York City. And I'm in Lemon Hills, California, also known as the state capital of California, and then streaming on 4 TV platforms. Number 10, I never miss a show with Big C Sports Podcast. Really do appreciate that. And I want to make sure that I do this PSA that I do on every show. It's important that people know if they ever need help in life, that the help is out there. I love paying homage to the Veterans Crisis Hotline because they really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. We all need help at some time in life. You know anybody going through issues, pick up the phone, call 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give it some praise because we all need somebody to lean on. I know I do, and it's nice when somebody's leaning back. Why listen to Big C Sports? I want to tell you, you can also, let me say, I want to give praise to Xfinity Comcast TV and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3, where God said, reparations now, reparations forever. I like to add that in by myself because I do believe that reparations is going to happen for descendants of child slavery, and I want to make sure that I'm always part of that. I love that. I want to also say I have a special guest coming on today, and I'll bring him up in just a moment. The brother's amazing, very talented, multi-talented. Really do appreciate him. But why listen to Big C Sports when it comes to sports and reparations? Charlton Curry, the Big C team, business development consultant for RDC Incorporated, endorsed by the California Department of Aging, California Black Chamber of Commerce, and the National Black Wall Street Project, co-chair of the Northern California chapter. Really do appreciate that. Give that some praise. I said give it some praise. I love adding my religious side of my sports podcast also, but I really do appreciate bringing you the Big C Sports Podcast. I want to tap into the California Reparations Task Force. I'll do that in just a moment, but we are endorsed by Attorney George Jones, California Black Chamber of Commerce. He is amazing, the chairman. Also, California Black Chamber of Commerce Foundation. Also, Mr. Leon Woods, the resource development consultant and one of the top lobbyists in California. Ms. Shell Brown, the chair of the California Commission of Aging. And also Mr. Ray De La Cruz, the CEO of Resource Development Consulting. And also Mr. Alex De La Cruz, American Veterans Benefits. Really do appreciate him. And that's why I say give it praise, praise, praise. Really do appreciate that. I do love bringing your Big C Sports Podcast. I'm going to come back in a moment, and I have a special guest. I am all about media, especially when it comes to black media. I have a great guest coming on, and when I tell you about him, you're going to appreciate what he's done. Also how far black media's come in the United States of America. So no matter what you listen to, it's either their story or our story. No matter what it is, there are just times in your life you got to change and adapt. Changing and adapting is important. There are times when people say, well, they don't talk enough about what's going on in the black diaspora of music and entertainment and sports. Well, if you don't like the stories that are being told about you, either lead, follow, and get out of the way. That's what I do with Big C Sports Podcast. It's called, if you don't like what's going on, you got to change and adapt. I'm going to take what's called the Big C Pause, also known as the Big C Timeout. I'll be back in just a moment with a special guest. All right, we're back from the Big C Pause, also known as the Big C Timeout. You can follow Big C Sports Podcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 29 podcast applications all over the universe and streaming live on 4 TV platforms: Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. And I really do appreciate that. As I told you, I'm pro reparations, I'm pro African Americans, and I love Dr. King. And I believe in what they talked about is so powerful. But oftentimes when I was growing up, I have a special guest on today. And when I grew up, there was not a lot of access to what's called African American media or black media. Primarily, if you heard about black Americans, it was about Muhammad Ali or Dr. King, but rarely did you have mainstream media covering issues that were preferred by the black press or black media. We had Ebony Magazine and Essence Magazine. But I have a great guest on. He has a great baritone voice, and his name is Mr. Antonio, they call him Tony, Ray Harvey. I call him Mr. Harvey, not Paul Harvey. He has a better voice than Paul Harvey. But he's with the California Black Media. And Mr. Harvey, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Big C. Thanks for having me on the show. I really do appreciate it.
You are more than welcome, really do. It's an honor. And I want to just do some introduction to you. If I were to edify you fully, it might take a whole week. So I'm just going to do what I can. Now, Mr. Harvey is born and raised in Champaign, Illinois, but he resides in the beautiful Golden State, the city of Sacramento, California. For nearly 36 years, after taking classes at Sacramento City College, he went on to get his graduate as his Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism, and then also a minor in photography from Sacramento State University, which is my own alma mater, Stingers Up. And then he's known as Sacramento State, one of the greatest media people to come out, because I'm going to tell you why. Aside from reporting on local entertainment, community issues, city government, and political events at the California State Capitol, Mr. Harvey is also a freelance sports journalist in Northern California for NBC Sports Radio. He also covers the NBA, also the NFL, and NCAA sports. So, Mr. Harvey, when do you have time to eat, let alone work with covering all those sports? Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's sometimes it's hard to find time to do a lot of things on my own, but I do. It's hard, but I do. But it's so much of a passion. It's a lifestyle.
Yes.
That they always tell you to find something that you love to do, and this is just something that I love to do. And as far as being in the area of black media,
yes,
I just feel like I'm servicing the people, and I'm just trying to convey all of the issues that we have.
Yes.
In a mass communication way to make sure that we all understand, what's going on in our community. So
that's very sad.
It's just a passion, it's just a lifestyle. I just live it, eat it, drink it, breathe it, the whole thing.
All of it. Mm-hmm. Let me take you back to the days when you started. For a lot of young people, they're graduating this year, whether it's Sacramento State or as you went to Sacramento City College. At what point in time did you know, I want to do the media angle and tell the story my way? Your thoughts?
Oh, boy, that's a good question, Charles. Big C. As you mentioned, I was born in Champaign, Illinois. That's south of Chicago.
Yeah.
It's about 90 miles from Chicago, south of Chicago, and it's 90 miles east of Indianapolis. And, living in that area, that's east central part of Illinois.
Yeah.
We were surrounded by, Ebony and Jet, because Ebony and Jet was located in Chicago.
Okay.
So I think I picked up I was always, saturated with Ebony and Jet publications, but I probably picked up my first black newspaper when I was about 6 or 7 years old at the Boys Club, which is today called the Boys and Girls Club of America.
Okay.
And it kind of took off from there because I didn't know that we had a medium that just featured us, and it was done in a positive light.
Yes.
So, then later on, I started delivering the hometown newspaper, the Champaign News Gazette, the Champaign Courier, and I actually took up photography in the Boys Club. So that was about 8 years old too. So, I became accustomed to that.
Yeah.
So it took a little time. Because when I first went off to college, I went to SIU, Southern Illinois University, before I moved to California.
Okay.
My thing was to be a software computer engineer. But then, my love just always kind of flowed back to writing and photographing. And so when I moved out here to California in 1988, later on, I started working at the Sacramento Union when Sacramento was a 2-newspaper town. Now it's only the Sacramento Bee.
Yes.
And that's when I wrote something for the Union. It was a really conservative newspaper, but the guy really liked it. And he was like, look, you probably should go and take some classes and, kind of pursue this.
Yeah.
Because I was working, I wasn't in the editorial side. I was working in circulation. So I was dispatching newspapers and, helping people, helping courier routes,
right?
Get your papers, for the next day, and things like that. So, it's time to move into the editorial side.
Yes.
The union was having a lot of financial problems in the mid 1990s. So I took up the opportunity to go to Sacramento City College.
Okay.
And, take up some journalism class. I worked on the paper there, the Express.
Okay.
Met some really good people, got under some really good people who had a great wealth of knowledge of journalism.
Yes.
Jenny McReynolds, Diane Heimer, Jan Haig, and all of them, when they were the advisors of the newspaper, and I kind of took off from there.
Okay.
And so I've been in this area for 31 years.
Wow.
But my gravitation was, more to the Black voice. How could I service the Black voice? I had all types of experiences. I worked at small newspapers, magazines, big newspaper, mainstream magazine, and when I was in high school, I took radio and television.
Okay.
Not knowing that this was going to be, my life, but
exactly.
That's where it all kind of boiled down to. And here I am today.
Here you are today. Mr. Harvey, talking to Mr. Harvey, he is actually a member of the Black media in California. But, you talked about coming out to Sacramento from Illinois. So you were back in Illinois. You were back in the days of the Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan, where they were making their run. And then you come to Sacramento that had just started the Kings. I believe the Kings came from Kansas City in 85, if I'm not missing that time. What was it like leaving the Times of Chicago? You guys were always on TV every weekend, Michael Jordan and the Good Old Boys. What was that like coming from there and then coming to where the Kings are, a kind of an upstart organization? Your thoughts?
Well, let me start here. I'm a diehard University of Illinois Fighting Illini fan because that's where Champaign-Urbana.
That's right.
They're two cities right together, and I grew up on that. And of course, I'm a big Chicago Bears fan and Chicago Bulls and Blackhawks hockey, and so in that area too. So. And I've been, watching the Bulls the early 70s. I used to watch the Bulls when it was just regional. Yeah. Remember, it was regional.
Yeah.
We get live streaming telecast today. Yeah. It wasn't like that. You only get to see your team regional. So that was a good part too. I would watch the Philadelphia 76ers play a game, but they played it 2 days ago. Okay. Yeah. But everything was centered around, the Chicago Bulls and things like that. So you are right. The Kansas City Kings moved here in 1985 and became the Sacramento Kings. So 3 years after I had moved here in 1988, I was like, I'm going to start supporting this team because this is the only professional team that is here, but I'm always going to be a Chicago Bulls fan. There's 2 times out the 82 game schedule that I fear the most is when the Kings play the Chicago Bulls. So
really?
I got, and this, which is tradition, Michael Jordan that came into the league in 1984.
Yep.
So, and I just couldn't leave that spirit and stuff like that. Then, they start tearing it up in the early 1990s, started winning all those championships.
All the championships.
Into the mid-1990s. But I have always been connected to what the Sacramento Kings have been doing. I started fully covering them in 2002.
Okay.
And that that was the infamous year when they played the Lakers and there was some
14 fouls in the against one team.
Yes, there was some rogue activities going on in that game that we later found out that was done by one official.
Well,
but and I've been covering them every team. So this is based on my 22nd year covering the Kings still.
Wow.
But I do support them. I do cover them objectively.
Yes.
I do cover them objectively. So, I praise them when, they're doing well, and I'm really critical when they're doing bad.
You're being honest.
I'm being honest, but I do support the team, and I do want them to win, and I do want them to do well. But it's been, crazy trying to go, shift through, the Chicago Bulls, that era, and then, support the Sacramento Kings as well.
Mr. Harvey, again, this is Charlton Curry, Big C Sports Podcast, talking to Mr. Tony Harvey, also part of Black Media. I'll get into that. But I want to ask your thoughts, too, because coming from a big media market like Chicago and then coming to Sacramento, as an African-American man, very smart, erudite, well-read, talk about the journey of what it took to get into the world of sports where you can actually not just love the Bulls or say even learn to love the Kings. What did it take, in talking to young college students right now, to get into the world of broadcast where you actually are media credentialed and you can go talk to those athletes and give them your questions, your thoughts?
Yes. Well, for one thing, as far as, being black, and I don't care if it's a black male or black female, never give up.
Yeah.
This is a tough business from my perspective. I deal with a lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm in these spaces, I will be
the only one.
I will be the only black person in that space. And so when I'm coming through the door, Big C,
yeah.
Some people don't get asked for their ID if they're not black.
I've been there, done that. Yep.
I do.
Yeah,
I do. And sometimes I get crazy about this stuff. Well, you didn't ask them.
Right. Right. Maybe that's how I met you.
Tell me what's really going on. What's this all about? Because I'm here to just cover just like anybody else.
Yes.
I am a credential. I go through those type of things.
Yeah.
And there were people that I had to get up on their shoulders to get access, and to these facilities, to cover these. I done covered the All-Star games, NBA All-Star game. I've covered the NFL Super Bowl.
Yep.
I've covered a lot of major events. I'm always around professional athletes.
Yes.
Okay. As you said, interviewing them and questioning them.
Yep.
Not only they make me comfortable, I make them comfortable because it's not a lot of us, in these areas.
Yeah.
But it can be really tough. You can't go in there with the black man attitude.
Right.
Ups. You really have to be a professional in these areas because you want to bring other young people in the fold as well, which I have.
Yes.
Okay.
I
don't like to really take credit for it or anything like that, but that's important to get these people in there so they can get that experience.
Yes.
And they can, play it forward to bring in other Black Americans, African Americans in the space because it is really getting even tougher too. I know it's a lot of, everybody has their own platform right now, which is good.
Yes.
But we should have our own platforms too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
We should tell it from our soulful voice and our perspective. Not to dump things down,
right.
but to make sure everybody understand, what it's like coming from a black person.
Yeah.
Okay, because track and field, I feel that, track and field is like 75% black, at least here in America.
Yes, it
but
is.
if you go to some of these track and field meets and you look in that press box, okay, it's about 95% white.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
I've written stories on this, how it's same thing. I try to get into these spaces. I walk in there and everybody looking at me.
Yep.
I'm the only black person here. Right, I am. But I'm going to be here.
And Mr. Harvey, this again, Big C Sports, Charles Curry talking to Tony Harvey, and he's also part of California Black Media, but he covers NBA basketball, credential media, and also NFL football. And a story that you just told, I want young people to get it, no matter what color they are. But for Black Americans, you do got to understand that sometimes people look at you as if like, what are you doing here? Nearly all the players can be African American. About 80% of NBA players are African American. About 75% NFL players African American. When I first got my start with Fox Sports back in '96, it was with John Madden and Pat Summerall, and I was invited in. It wasn't a resume, just people that I knew. But when I got in the broadcast booth with John Madden and Pat Summerall, I was invited there by Mike Roig and Fran Morrison, and I can tell you, there was myself, Pam Oliver was a sideline reporter at that time.
Yes.
But you would think there would be a lot more African Americans in the business since we dominate the sport. But in the media, there'd be times there was 60 people in the TV trucks, and I'd be one of 60, or maybe two of 60 that are black or Hispanic. And you can tell me the same things happen to your thoughts.
Hey, being in those spaces, and it's really a tough thing. Most of the time, I'm aware of these things that they're happening.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you have to be the best that you could be.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. You got to let them know. I am a professional, and I am here to do a job. This is not solely based on races. I'll leave that up to you. Okay. I understand that part.
Yeah.
But if you're a young person, trying to break into this business, understand that you have a job to do.
Yeah.
Regardless of who's around, okay?
Know the answer.
It's going to be tough, and there's going to be people that test you.
Yep.
But then after a while, I've been doing it so long, there's a lot of respect that you will earn from these people too.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's the whole point. Okay, and then I'm not, course, I'm going to help, my fellow black brothers and sisters too. But I have helped other people as well, non-black people. Yeah. Okay, and I get them to understand too. Okay, you might have a better advantage than I do. Getting in some of these spaces. I have to let them know that. Yeah, I have to let them know that because they may not be aware of that thing. Okay. Yeah, and understand it from my perspective. That's the only thing it is. But it's really important to understand to let these people know. Okay, you are here. You are here to do a job. You're going to do a masterful job. You tell yourself that. And do it great. Okay, even at my age, I'm always telling myself I could be better than I am. Yeah. Okay? Or I'm only as good as the last article I wrote. Okay. Yeah. And Big C, I cover everything. I cover state politics, city government, entertainment, sports. Okay, social justice issues. Yes. Environmental justice. I mean, all of that. And that makes me a better reporter. All around reporter. All around. Now, just take for instance that, you sitting in a room with some heavyweights. Every one of those people and Pam Oliver too, I respect them for the profession that they did. Yeah. Because when I was growing up, I was looking at Roger Mudd, I was watching Walter Cronkite, Brian Williams, and one of my favorites, before their time. When they were coming up. Edward R. Murrow, who I think, he's a pioneer of news broadcasting. I learned from them too. So read up on there and what they do in their background and how they came up. Okay. Edward R. Murrow, people don't know this, he was a sportscaster. Yeah. He started off as a sportscaster, but he became more famous, in the news genre and stuff like that. So understand, when you want to be the master, the jack of all trades, to understand where you are, when you're sitting in that truck, okay, let them know you are here for business you are a professional. Yeah. And you're going to do the best job that you possibly can.
I agree with you. You're very good talking to the great Tony Harvey, part of the California Black Media, also credentialed to cover NBA basketball and NFL football. And a lot like yourself, when I was chosen as a Chiron assist to work Super Bowl 33, it was Denver versus Green Bay down in San Diego. And there was one of three Chirons that they had come down there. That was Dick Enberg actually did that game. But I understand we got to go and rise and shine and make our own way in the world. And I want to just say this too. What I appreciate about you, Mr. Harvey, when I first met you, it was that, and what I hope more and more Black Americans, African Americans will start championing and supporting what Dr. King spoke about when he had a speech saying we're going to get our check. He's talking about reparations. I met you at a California Reparations Task Force meeting that was mandated by California Governor Gavin Newsom. It was at the Secretary of State's office, Shirley Weber, and there was Senator Bradford, there's Camila Moore, and Mr. Amos Brown, so many other dignitaries. But I met you there with Brother Aleem Shabazz, who's owner of Crescent Sports Media, and then Double O. She also has a talk show here in Sacramento. But I met you covering not sports. You were covering reparations. Give me your thoughts on why that is so important to you as an African American. And then what will it take for more of our African American men and women to stop being so silent about it? Your thoughts?
Man, let me start here. Thank you for bringing that up because I've been working on that for the non-member panel that you had mentioned, with Bradford and Amos Brown and Attorney Moore down in Southern California, who were on. That went on. That study and investigation went on for 2 years, and that was June 28, 2023.
That's right.
And I met you last year when we were doing that. But with how I gravitated to that, I saw it as an opportunity to find out first, why are there 2 million plus million Black people that live here in California?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's a large amount of people living in one state.
Yeah.
People, I know it's 38, 40 million people living here. Yeah. But why did they learn, and of course, I learned about the Great Migration West, not the Great Migration North. Remember, there were two of them.
Yes.
The Great Migration going north or in parts east and the one going west. So I got an understanding and the knowledge and the history of how that happened. And then I learned about they were going through the same issues people in the deep South were going through. Okay, there was a lot of harms and atrocity being inflicted on the Black community here in California.
Yes.
Okay, and that's what that whole study was about. And now we at the point to how do we dole out, reparations?
Yes.
As you mentioned too before, because that was a bill by Dr. Shirley Weber when she was in the Assembly. Right. Now she's the Secretary of State.
That's right.
And that was Assembly Bill 3121 that started that 2-year study. So now where we are, they came out with a package of bills about 3 weeks ago. And they're trying to push that through, kind of slow walking the direct cash payment end of it. But I think they're at some point, it's going to take a few years that they will get to that. But people, another problem was, the communication ends up. I don't think it was a great deal of communication.
It was not very well covered. I know you covered it more than the mainstream media, and we know that's by design too. Go right ahead, please.
Yeah, and that was thanks to the executive director of California Black Media, Regina Brown Wilson. We was working on the spring bean budget. I'm all over the state. Covering these meetings. And, they started off being virtual, but then, then I had to hit San Diego, LA, Oakland, and here in Sacramento. They had 2 of them here at the beginning of March and the end of March of 2023. So I had to, cover that. But the whole thing was to make sure that whatever I could do, that the Black community was aware of what was happening with these meetings and what was coming out of them. Because remember, it's like 115 recommendations that came out of these meetings. It was extremely hard, but it was extremely important, and it was how would I say it? It was fulfilling.
I agree.
As a reporter to cover those things. I wish there was better coverage that we could have did. And, in this next round, hopefully, that would happen, but they really have to come down because a lot of people still don't know, what's happening with reparations, at least the reparation process that's going on here in the state of California.
Well, Senator Bradford, he's also submitted to the California legislation Senate Bill 490 to reestablish Freedmen's Bureau, which has happened, the first one by President Abraham Lincoln. It was March 3rd of 1865 after the Civil War was over. But I do want to commend you on something because I grew up either learning to either lead, follow, or get out of the way. Don't come with a complaint unless you have a solution for it. And what I'm seeing, and I'm more emboldened by it too, Mr. Harvey, there's more and more. We're in Black History Month. I think every day is Black History because all life began on the African continent, according to science, Dr. Leakey and Gregory Mendel. But I want to say, and I want to ask your thoughts, what would it take for our beautiful, big, strong, intelligent Black men and women, professional, multi-million-dollar athletes and entertainers, to at least espouse what Dr. King spoke about? He wasn't just talking about I have a dream. He was talking about reparations. There's even a national anthem song about reparations. Are people afraid? Are they being told to shut up and dribble, as what was told to LeBron James by a media for Fox Sports, Laura Ingraham, or Fox News? Why are we so reticent to even support the people like Senator Bradford, as opposed to if you're afraid because your employer says don't talk about anything pro-Black? If that's the case, why are we not supporting more people like Senator Bradford or like Barbara Lee or even Governor Gavin Newsom, who's not a Black man, he's a white man? Your thoughts?
Hey, look, this is we're owed this, okay? And I think one of the rally cry in this is if we're owed this, we sure the heck need to start demanding reparations because we built this country.
Exactly.
All right? Now, it is well documented that that thing that happened with Executive Order 9066 when they moved 120,000 Japanese, took their property and kicked them out of their business and moved them into these incarceration camps. All right. Later, there was redress for that. They got a little chunk of change, $20,000 a piece. Okay. And then there was the thing with the Holocaust. Okay. They got redress for that. The Native Americans here, they still owe them a lot, but they still got some property and land, and they're putting casinos and things on that. I can just go up and down the line. We're the only ones. Of course, we were brought in the bows of a cargo ship, a slave ship, from our home country in chains, and we were brought here to work the fields. Okay, and that was another thing that I learned about California because slavery did take place here in California.
They had fugitive slave laws, of course, it took place here.
And they had a fugitive slave law that was sending people back, to their enslavers as well. They were working those gold mines up there in Coloma, which is about less than about 45 minutes south. Northeast here in Sacramento and stuff. That I learned some of it. There's still some family that want to get their property back from, there because they, I could go on about that stuff. But we're at a stage where we have to demand these things. And the first thing is education. You have to get people to understand what happened. There's an 1,100-page report that the California Reparations Task Force had put out, that non-member panel that you talked about at the top of this discussion. Okay? It's online. All you have to go to the California Department of Justice, and you can pull that down. All right? And read through there, and you can find out all the things that happened here in Sacramento. California. And in regard to doing that, if you understand all these things that happen, then you would say, hey, well, we demand reparations as well. Okay, and I know there's a lot of reparation programs and things like that, but we should be getting cash payments as well too. And I'm going to be writing some more things. I'm going to be writing some more things on these bills that they're going to produce. They have 14 priority bills. That was that are authored by members of the California Legislative Black Caucus.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
Okay. A resolution just was enacted a couple of days ago. That was ACR 135, and that's basically to recognize that these harms and atrocities happened. Then there'll be an apology next, and then later on, then it'll start with the programs that hopefully will lead up to the correct direct cash payment. Now, one of them, to me, is not one of the 14 priority bills. I won't get into that. At least Senator Bradford is pushing that, and you just mentioned that, Big C. Senate Bill 490. Okay, which is CAFA. That's the California American Freedmen Affairs Agency, which is a knockoff of the Freedmen Bureau from 1865 that you just mentioned. That is supposed to facilitate all the activities and the process, eligibility, genealogy, all of that up and down the state. That's kind of like going to be the headquarters of leading us to, getting to reparation. That was one of the first bills that was proposed back here in August of 2023. Okay? We have to get behind that because that is so important. And the reason why I say it's so important because direct cash payments in these programs, the reparation programs, that's great. You have a chance to find out who you are,
who you really are,
and where you came from, what tribes that you emerged from, when you came up off that ship, that cargo slave ship and things like that. That's one of the things that SB 490 is going to help us get to, in light of everything that's happening around here. It's about a total of 30 reparation bills. They already have the 14th in place. Matter of fact, Senator Bradford have another bill is the taking of property through eminent domain.
Eminent domain,
Okay, and that was happening to some of the land that happened up here in the gold country with the black families. And now we're finding out that, it happened in Santa Monica with a man back in the 1940s and the 1950s when he bought a beach club.
And they helped him get $20 million. I think the family was offered $20 million.
That's Bruce. Now, that's another case. We're talking about Bruce Beach. That was Manhattan Beach. That's Bruce Beach. There's another case. There's emerging right now in Santa Monica. Okay, and understand this. I learned this too from a reparation. Let me just try to make this short. Okay. Back in 1950, there was a black community basically living downtown Santa Monica. Okay. They used eminent domain to remove that black community out there. And these people came out here, they were part of that West Great Migration from the South. Okay. These people saw the value going up in the land in Santa Monica that they burned down some of these people's houses to get them up out of there.
Exactly.
Move them up out of there. Okay. No one knows about this story. Okay. Beach, we all heard about that. That happened in the early 1900s. Okay. And they had to deal with the KKK and everything. It was probably one of the only beach clubs for black people here in America. They took that by eminent domain.
They sure did.
So Senator Bradford has a bill to, that's what, SB 490 is going to help out too. And this other bill, to taking the property through eminent domain, we could get those, we could either get compensated restitution for this property or get the property back.
You are so powerful. You are so powerful. This is Charlton Curry of Big C Sports Podcast talking to the great Mr. Tony Harvey, and I'm telling you, you are you're a breath of fresh air. I know we ask for entertainers and athletes to step up too, but you cover the entertainment, athlete, and political scene, and I'm so proud of you for being able to just enunciate what's going on behind the sports world, because a lot of our athletes, maybe they're told to be quiet, part of the contract, whatever it is. But with black media, without you or myself, you wouldn't hear this kind of conversation anywhere in the United States. I mean, you just wouldn't, and I thank you for that. I want to ask you before we close, and man, I could talk to you forever because you're so knowledgeable, and I really appreciate the knowledge and the spirit in which you speak. Not only are you on Big C Sports Podcast all over the world, you've been at the Secretary of State building in California when they announced the reparations proposal with the great Shirley Weber. And then you talked about Senator Bradford, I think he's a top senator in the United States. He sponsored Name, Image, and Likeness. Student athletes get paid because of him. He also sponsored the Ebony Alert, that law enforcement puts the same resources into finding black children as they do with the Amber Alert and finding white children. And then reparations. Slavery is the biggest crime this country's ever been through. And unfortunately, people like ourselves, we go to the Oscars and wonder, why don't they ever nominate us for awards? Denzel Sturgeon got a nomination for Malcolm X, my opinion. At the same time, you and I, what we're doing right now, you don't hear this on most of our programs because, unfortunately, too many of our own brethren, they will poke fun at other people or play the dirty dozens with other people, as opposed to saying things that would benefit not only my children, your children, and future generations. So I appreciate the manner and the spirit of what you're doing, Mr. Harvey. Your thoughts?
Charles, you're a class of your own. I really appreciate, you having a platform where we can talk about these things, as black people, and share it with, our black brothers and sisters and everybody else. That's not black. But
exactly.
I've had the opportunity to visit a slave plantation in Louisiana. It's between New Orleans and the other big city, Baton Rouge.
Yes.
Okay. I've been to the Lynching Museum in Montgomery, Alabama.
Wow.
I've been to the Civil War site in Vicksburg, Mississippi.
Wow.
There's 40% of the people buried in that Civil War. It's about a 15-mile trek too. On the grounds of that Civil War, it's a museum property. 40% of those people buried there are black. They were members of the Union Army.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
40% sitting right there on the edge of the Mississippi River, on the other side of the state of Louisiana.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I've had the opportunity to go and look at these places to understand how important black history is.
Yes.
Okay. As you said, black history is every day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every day.
I've been to the place. I've been to Medgar. I've been to that house where Medgar Evers was killed in Jackson, Mississippi.
Wow.
It's a museum right now. It's being ran by Tougaloo College, which is north of Jackson, Mississippi.
Yes.
That's what we're all about here. Okay.
Yes.
Learning who we are and sharing it, with the world, so we get a better understanding to get where we are right now.
Wow.
Because also, what I have learned too, the majority of the issues that we have here in America, Big C, is within ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that too. We have the problems that we have with ourselves. We need to work those issues out first before we can get help in these other areas and stuff. People don't understand that.
Yeah.
Okay. We got everything going against us within our own community that I don't really have to mention.
Right.
I'm talking about that crab in a barrel type thing, okay?
I agree.
I mean,
100%.
The caste system, colorism.
Yeah.
I mean, I could just, we got to deal with that first before we can come together as a people and do what we want.
It's like the Willie Lynch letter. Some people don't believe in it, but I believe it exists. And
I believe it.
And that's why I want to thank you, because we're talking about solutions. We're not trying to point the finger at nobody. Either lead, follow, get out of the way. Talking to Mr. Tony Harvey, and he's put the California Black Media. He's also a credentialed NBA media representative as well as NFL. So we have so many things in common. I want to ask you in the final 10 minutes that we have, I want to ask you, can you tell me and tell our number one, I want to edify you because you came to a resource development meeting that we had on a guide to protect, preserve, and transfer wealth, because our job and I'm saying this me personally, long-term care, we're all going to deal with it. And working with RDC Consulting as a national correspondent. And I'm also looking to bring on thousands of agents to teach literacy, financial literacy for not just Black Americans, but all Americans. But if we understand that if we can protect our wealth, we don't have to keep starting over at scratch like a lot of other cultures have. But can you tell me, with Black media, tell our audience, what is Black media? I believe you're more than 30 independently owned Black and operated news publishing media platforms. Can you talk about Black media that many people may not even know exists? Your thoughts?
Oh, man. Black publications has been around since like 1827.
Yeah.
And they have been influential in our progress here in America before slavery and after slavery, especially like somebody like Ida B. Wells.
Ida B. Wells, yep.
Because Ida B. Wells was the first one who started writing about the horrible crime of lynching.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I mean, it forced her up out of the South, out of Memphis, Tennessee. She had to move to the South side of Chicago. But we understood, because later on she started writing for the Chicago Defender too.
Yes.
We understood how powerful that platform, how powerful that platform is for Black media.
Yes.
As for California Black media here in the state of California, we partnership with 30 or more Black media outlets here in the state.
Yes.
And they did a wonderful job of publishing the work that I was producing for Reparations.
Yes.
And you can catch that in print. You can catch it online.
Yes.
Oh, I even heard somebody read it over radio.
Really?
Some of my reports over radio.
Wow.
So you're talking about radio, print, and television. And those mediums are powerful for us, to relay these type of messages. And that's just how important, let me just break this down to you.
Yes.
Remember, Big C, just a short few years back, when it was happening a lot, that anything that somebody did in the Black community, us, Black and Black crime, something like that, it would end up on the front page.
National news, above the fold, big headlines. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, now, with the digital online revolution going on, at least as far as journalism,
yes,
Black folks don't have to pick up those newspapers and read that.
Preach.
So now we're in another area that these newspapers or these conglomerates, journalistic conglomerates, they understand now that we only want to see something that's going to help make us better, make our community better. Now they're coming to get the Black media. Okay? They're sneaking out the Black voice. They're like, yes.
Hey,
and I would go to say that we have some fools that sell it out to them.
I know it.
Okay,
I know it.
We got to make money. I understand that.
Yeah.
But don't give up the power. That's all I'm saying.
I agree with you.
Do not give up the power.
Yes.
Okay. Now they're finding out how important it is now today. Especially with the California Black media, because I work with some really talented writers and editors.
Yes.
Of course, Regina Brown, her family, own a couple of Black newspapers themselves.
Yes.
Okay, one of them, their daughter, Paula Brown Hines, she's running them now stuff.
Yes.
Without them, standing up and trying to make this continuation to make sure that we're relevant.
Yes.
These other companies would come in and take what we have and water it down and twist the narrative and things like that.
Man.
That's just how powerful we are, especially here in the state of California. Because I've met these people with the Sentinel, Open Post, LA Focus, up and down the line. San Diego, with Mr. Dr. Warren, with the San Diego Voice of Viewpoint. These are some really powerful platform publications and online entities and stuff. And we need to support them more than anything, okay?
I agree
because we're going to tell you the truth. We're going to tell you the truth in a fair and balanced way, okay?
Yes.
And as concise as we possibly can. We must support the Black voice.
You are so powerful, Mr. Tony Harvey. Big C Sports. Charles Curry talking to Mr. Tony Harvey. 800-772-8624. 800-772-8624. That's 800-772-8624. We have about a minute left. And number one, I just want to thank you for something that's so refreshing. You ever have that, you work hard all day and you get home and you want to say, oh, like that Calgon take me away moment? Well, we're understanding as African Americans, we gotta change and adapt. Society changes. I'm not about complaining. I'm about leading, following, or getting out of the way. I love having an erudite, intelligent African American man. I think you're very learned. I appreciate your spirit and the manner in which you speak and your history. I just want to see more of us. You are always, always welcome. If you have anything you want to get out, I know you're doing your own shows, and you are always welcome to come on my show. But if you can shout out, I know you do a podcast also that covers NBA basketball. Please give yourself some praise. Go ahead. Where can people find you?
Yes, you can find me on YouTube. I do a podcast that's mainly centered around the Sacramento King, but the NBA as whole, all you got to do is just type in Antonio Ray Harvey, and it'll pop up too. And because I go by my birth name when I on my bylines, Antonio Ray Harvey. Yeah. And you will also be able to pull up just about every California Black Media article that I have did. If you type in Antonio Ray Harvey, California Black Media. Yes. Okay. And the reason why I mentioned that too, because there's going to be a series of reports, just surrounded around reparations. I want everyone to understand that. Yes. And plus that I'm also working on some things that has to do with our aging population. Yes. And, with the living wills and the trust and home care that you and I have been talking about, Big C. That's really important right now because the baby boomers population is getting older. People, especially here in California and across the country, we have to understand, and we have to have our elders, set up for the future as well. So look out for those articles that's coming down the pipe. Yes. And I will do another podcast outside of sports too. I'm working on that too. Yes. I will be trying to put together some documentaries. There's some minor league Negro baseball leagues that a lot of people don't know about. Of course, we know about, the Homestead Grays and the Kansas City Monarchs. Exactly. And the Detroit Stars and the Chicago Giants, blah, blah, blah. But there were some minor leagues, from these back road towns that I'm finding out about, those players and the facilities that they played in. Yes. Those will be coming out within the next year as well. I have a book out. It's called A Homicidal Handyman of Oak Park about a black serial killer. He's on death row in San Quentin right now. His name is Morris Solomon Jr. Wow. It's been out for the last 12 years. Wow. You can look that up online. I am in the process of writing another book. Yes. It's called American Vamp, about another homicide case that happened here in Sacramento. Yeah, I hope to have that one finished up here soon. I've been laboring that for a few years now, but I'm ready to go ahead and knock that out. But I do want to thank you, brother, for inviting me on your show and let me have this conversation, this discussion about the Black voice. And you are a great man within yourself. Oh man, and you really understand, how important the work that we do. And I definitely understand the work that you do too. And we got to keep this going.
Well, Mr. Harvey, I appreciate you. This is Mr. Harvey from the California Black Press, NBA credential, NFL credential. We're doing work with RDC, helping people with long-term care solutions. And I just want to thank you for your time. I appreciate you very much. I'm going to take what's called the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. And when we come back, I'm going to finish up with Big C Sports. Mr. Harvey, thank you so much. I wish you the very best, and I'll see you soon.
Peace and love and solidarity.
God bless you. This is Big C Sports, Charlton Curry, the Big C Sports Podcast. I'll be back in just a moment. All right, back from the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 29 podcast applications all over the universe. Streaming on 4 TV platforms, Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Just heard the great Tony Harvey, a member of the California Black Media, also NBA and NFL credentialed. I wanna tell you, today's show, we talked about sports, NFL football, on the court of the NBA basketball, and also the media of NFL and NBA, and then also reparations at the Secretary of State building in California. But I do want to pay homage to the California Reparations Task Force, the chair that Mr. Harvey and I talked about, Camila Moore, she's brilliant. Dr. Amos C. Brown, vice chair, he's brilliant. The California Senator Stephen Bradford, he's brilliant. A council member, Monica Montgomery Stepper, she's brilliant. Assembly member, Reginald Jones Sawyer, he's brilliant. Dr. Shell Grills, she's brilliant. Attorney Lisa Holder, she's brilliant. Dr. Javon Scott Lewis, he's brilliant. And then Attorney Donald K. Tamaki, he's brilliant, part of the California Reparations Task Force. Give them all praise. In fact, he's the only one to receive reparations at the Center of Chattel Slavery. As you know, as I do with the Big C Sports Podcast, I do always love giving praise to my beautiful family, my great-grandparents, and my grandparents, my beautiful mother, the most beautiful mama in the history of the universe. Started a Head Start program, a food program, and also coached an all-boys Little League baseball team to the championship. And then on my father's side, my father, former United States Air Force fighter pilot, chief mechanic, always making sure that airplanes can fly high so we can all stay safe at night. And then my beautiful brother Todd, with that bombastic voice, sound like thunder and lightning when Thomas speaks. Really do appreciate him. My beautiful daughter Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. Set up the very first interview for Big C Sports back in the days of Salem Media. It became the only time in the history of the United States that NFL Monday Night Football started broadcasting live on the Wall Street Business Network. Daisy, I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. My beautiful, handsome son, Malcolm, the most handsome son in the history of the universe. College student, very smart, every night a good man. Set up the very, I'm telling you, he helped me save trees. He told me I used to always look up stats for Big C Sports with newspapers. And one day Malcolm said, Dad, why don't you just Google it? And a light bulb went off. I've been Googling ever since and really do appreciate him. But Malcolm said one day, Dad, do you want to see Big C Sports on TV? I said, sure. He said, pick up the remote, aim it at the TV, and say, play Big C Sports. You'll see your show come up. Malcolm, I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. You can be anything you want to be. And then Big C, with all that wealth and knowledge over the years, always saying, you got to believe. You got to believe. You got to believe. I love saying, let's get ready to rumble. I love saying, welcome to the show. ESPY nominated Big C Sports Podcast. I have no scripts. I have no three-way teleprompters. I do my show with my higher self. But as I just had Mr. Harvey on the show, Tony Harvey on the program, member of the California Black Press, I want to play a song called Reparations because it's so powerful, and I want people to hear it because I hope that other media will pick it up, and it's part of Big C Sports. And my mantra, this is leap year 2024, February the 29th, but I want to play this song called Reparations. I want to play it, and I hope that you share it with a friend and tell everybody about it. And before I bring on the Reparations anthem, I want to tell you why RDC, which is Resource Development Consulting, Inc., long-term care solutions by the book, over 3 decades of experience, Medicare and You, and Taking Care of Tomorrow, and California is called Medi-Cal. So why work with the Big C team in RDC? Your family can avoid the spend down for nursing home care costs in California. Find out your options are promised to you. It is a promise. We specialize to navigate and maximize and long-term care benefits, protection of your assets without the spend down. I'm doing a commercial called Asset Protection. Are you saying Aflac? No, Aflac is gap insurance. I'm talking about we learn how to protect your assets, if that makes sense to you. You got to have a change and adapt it sometimes in life. And we think about protection of your assets without the spend down. All paperwork and communication with all government agencies are handled by a staff of entitlement specialists. Ongoing consulting to provide updates as necessary. Benefits covering skilled nursing facilities, prescriptions, medical equipment costs, and more. Protection of your assets, if that makes sense to you, including your home, thereby allowing you to leave a legacy for your family. Avoiding the nightmare of debt brought by the government's estate recovery program. We help you protect your assets, because if you don't have the right asset protection, you better believe the government would be coming after your assets, if that makes sense to you. And we have a one-time processing fee versus monthly insurance premium for the rest of your life. I'm going to show you today's show is going to end a little bit different. 800-772-8624. 800-772-8624. I told you about a song called Reparations. We're going to close with that because that's the way it is. And I hope you understand it, and I hope you listen.
In spite of all the terror, all the harm, all the crimes against our humanity, we have over 400 years of Black resilience. Acknowledge, apologize, repair. This is a call to action, a
God told Pharaoh, let my people go. And I feel like Joshua and Jericho. God on our side, so we all in know. Mathematics, Asiatic, actual problematic for savages. We demand an answer for these damages. First you gonna acknowledge, then apologize for real, more than teary eyes. Say it was a Holocaust, on up to the homicide. Ally or you anti, now you gotta pick a side. All colors, all generations, we came for reparation. No debating, need more legislation. Worldwide got the people saying we demand reparations. No debating, need more legislation.
For independence, this is a declaration, we came for reparation.
No debating, need more legislation. Worldwide got the people saying we demand reparations. No debating, need more legislation.
For independence, this is a declaration, we came for reparations. We the fruit of what our ancestors prayed for. First generation college graduates and homeowners. You look deeply at the roots and you see way more. History literally getting combed over. USD is an incomplete remedy. You ain't got enough denominations in your treasury to bring back to form all the souls that were taken. Spirits bring to life through these phrases. We came for reparations.
100% profit, slavery abolished, you Jim Crow, red line, blackballed knowledge. The war on drugs was a war on blacks. And if you speak truth to power, then you under attack financially. You reparated Israel, Native Americans. Past due, you reparated me. You reparated Japanese interns, but you designated we, the people who built this country, never really set us free.
No debating, need more legislation.
Worldwide got the people saying we demand reparations.
No debating, need more legislation.
For independence, this is a declaration, we came for reparations.
No debating, need more legislation. Worldwide got the people saying we demand reparations. No debating, need more legislation.
For independence, this is a declaration, we came for
Over
reparations.
400 years of oppression is built on how we heal. Placing law, policies, police try to demolish me. Cause of my godly biology. So let's factor, first repair. Power the economy, black unity, solidarity. Not asking for handouts or charity. But how can we overcome disparity? Reparations.
No debating, need more legislation.
Worldwide got the people saying we demand reparations.
No debating, need more legislation.
For independence, this is a declaration, we came for reparations.
No debating, need more legislation. Worldwide got the people saying we demand reparations. No debating, need more legislation.
For independence, this is a declaration, we came for reparations.
I see the vision like I was looking through her eyes. It's time we get paid, need my piece of the pie. We want reparations, no more segregations. Talking 40 acres, now that's a celebration. On the back of the bus, I'm feeling just like Rosa. For my ancestors, look amongst us. For my children's children, I walk like Moses. We the people, God bless the chosen.
Is that powerful? I said, is that powerful? That's Big C Sports Podcast coming to you worldwide. Always tell a friend. Follow Big C Sports Podcast. As I always tell you on every Big C Sports show, I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super fantastic day. Reparations now, reparations forever. Say it one more time, reparations now, reparations forever.